What is Scooby Dooby? Welcome back to After the Snap. I'm your host, Tasha Pierce. This right here is Stream Something Sunday. I just spilled tea all down the front of my shirt, so we're gonna pretend like that doesn't exist. So, how's you doing today? I see I got my homegirl out here. What's up? What's up, D? Um, yeah. So today, what we do is we recap series or movies that are streaming. So not stuff that you go to the movies to see. Not those little videos that you make at home with your, you know what videos I'm talking about. We talk about stuff that's streaming on any of the major streaming services, but we have a select few uh shows that it's like we must cover. I must cover Star Trek Discovery. What? You thought I didn't? I must cover Star Trek Discovery. I must cover Hawkeye. Marvel from Disney Plus. Yeah, we got the first two episodes of Hawkeye. So I must cover Hawkeye. And then there's the Wheel of Time. And that's becoming a must cover for me. It's like now I must cover the Wheel of Time. What it do? What it do, Lysandra? Welcome to the chat. So yeah, these are the three shows that I have to, I gotta cover them. I just have to. Now, there's a segment of this show where you tell me what you're streaming. So get your ideas in mind. I'm gonna need an elevator pitch for why we should watch what you're watching. And if you've watched anything and you think it's worth us giving it a watch, put it in the chat when you see the what you're watching. I guess what is it called? A intro. When you see that intro come up, have your thoughts ready. Give me your elevator pitch. We'll share that with the audience because that's what we do here. We just try to figure out what's worth it and what might not be. Um, yeah. So, with no further ado, I guess we better start talking about Star Trek Disco. And if you've been around with Star Trek for a while, you know that disco is what we are calling Discovery. I didn't make it up, they did. So they're calling Discovery disco. I'm cool with it. Oh, I see you just chilling, Davina. And Lasandra is good afternoon, my beautiful queens. Yes, queen. Yes. That crown on. Wear it nice. And I think one of my little curls is getting away here. And I can't figure out what side of my head it's really on. I think I'm gonna put that under the hat. I don't know. I don't know how that happens. Yeah, so Star Trek Discovery this week. Man, this was a good episode. Let me tell you. There was we were picked up sort of where we left off at last week. And last week, where we left off was we found out that there was this gravitational anomaly just floating around out there. So it destroyed planet Quajon. That's Book's planet where he's from. It also destroyed a space station that was run by the Federation. So this this uh this anomaly is rather destructive. It's rather destructive, but you got a crew full of nothing but scientists on Discovery. Everybody has their plays their part, but each one of them is dedicated to like the science of what's going on in the universe. And they feel like they can reroute this anomaly, or uh they could actually stop it in some way. And I don't know because I'm not a scientist, so I don't know whether there's science behind that says, yeah, you could actually stop a gravitational anomaly that's in space. But in the land of Star Trek, this shit can happen. It can happen. You can stop this. So we also find Book. He's still struggling with the loss of his planet because you don't get over losing your entire world very easily. We see Adira and Gray sharing the excitement that they have about Gray getting a new body because remember that was one of the things that Colbert said that we promised that we are going to work on getting you a new body so that you're not just a ghost and the only person that can see you is Adira. We're going to fix that for you, Gray. So that is in underway here. Um, Tilly is still feeling a little apprehensive about the way things are going on the ship. She feels kind of like this ain't the same ship that she's been part of all this time. I'd like to know exactly what's going on with Tilly. Why is she feeling this kind of way? And then we see the Federation and all of these other galactic planets. They're coming together. They're having a meeting of the minds to see what is causing this destruction in space and what they might be able to do to stop it. So we saw the Federation, of course, representatives. We saw representatives from other neighboring systems, other neighboring planets. Uh, we are seeing this global, well, I'll say, galactic community work together to try to solve this problem that's going on in the galaxy. And of course, a lot of the weight is going to fall on Discovery because Discovery is like that's the most mobile ship. It can get anywhere in a split second simply because of this spore drive that it has. And yeah, so get you guys caught up on where we are as far as disco goes. And now we're going to get into today's episode of what we learned about Discovery this week. So, and I'm hoping that you guys enjoy the little visuals that's coming up. I'm not going to be talking about them in order, but these are scenes from this week's episode of Disco. Okay, so last week's episode was Kobayashi Maru. We see this week episode Anomaly, where Book, uh, he's been just chilling by himself. He's been, I guess, trying to wrap his mind around the fact that his entire planet is gone. How heartbreaking that is for him, especially since he had just had this. He was part of this coming of age ceremony for his little nephew on the planet, and then one minute they're here, the next minute they're gone. So he's still dealing with that. Um, in fact, he's not dealing with it well because, and this is, of course, the stages of grief, which is one of the things that I really and truly love about how Discovery is exploring these things. Because again, I'm dealing with that myself, and I'm pretty sure that there are other people who are within the sound of my voice who are dealing with it as well. So this is you're not alone type thing. You don't have to deal with your situation by yourself. You've got friends. You're on a ship with thousands of people. You can actually confide in someone, and it can help you through this. And the someone that he could confide in is his girlfriend, Michael Burnham, who was the captain of of the USS Discovery. But anywho, so he's trying to figure out if there was anything that could have been done to have stopped his planet from freaking exploding. Sorry about that. Okay, so it's also clear that, let me see, he's told the Federation, exactly what he witnessed prior to his planet exploding. So the Discovery senior officers, as well as the leaders of several non-Federation worlds, they are, I guess, they're re-examining what was told to them. by book, what they saw for themselves. They are trying to actually wrap their minds around what happened and see what could stop this anomaly. Um, excuse me again. I'm sorry, you guys. Um, One of the things that I really enjoyed about this episode today was the return of Captain Saru to Star Trek Discovery. So I mean to USS Discovery. He's made his way back to the ship. And that answered the question I had last week. Like last week, my big question was, who the heck is the first officer on this ship? At that time, there was no first officer. When Saru, and this is Saru that we just saw pictured there, when Saru made his return back to Discovery, when he came back to the Federation, he was offered to take the USS Sojourner. So I always have a problem saying that word. Sojourner. I can't say it. You know what I'm trying to say. Sojourner. 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 I can't say that word. They offered him a ship. He turned the ship down. He said he would rather stay on Discovery. And this is where we find that there is no ego about Saru. Not only did he return to the ship that he used to captain, he voluntarily said, "Hey, if you don't have a first officer, I'd be honored to be your first officer. There's no ego on this." And you know what? Burnham needs him to be her first officer. She needs his quiet reassurance, his wisdom. She needs all of that at her side. They make a wonderful pair. In fact, he makes a better first officer for her than she ever did for him, I think. I think, because again, with Burnham, even though she's a hell of an officer and she's doing everything for what she considers with the best intentions, she has to be the savior all the time. That's just how she is. So if there's a situation where, for instance, someone else needs to make the sacrifice play, she's not comfortable with it. She always has to do it. In fact, if you won't let her do it, she'll do it without your permission. She'll just do it. So I think the dynamic is far better with her being the captain, him being the first officer, because he is one person who can kind of rein Burnham in. I like that. Um, Now, here we find ourselves in one of those positions where Burnham needs someone else to make a sacrifice play, and she's not prepared to allow it to happen. And this is the sacrifice play we're talking about. Even though she's right in a lot of ways, this is the sacrifice play that had to happen. Book, who's right here. Book's ship would have been the only one who would be able to travel, and I won't say within this anomaly, but it was close to it or something of that effect. I can't remember how that shit went. They needed his ship to do it. So she was going to assign Detmer and another away team to fly Book's ship to get these scans of this anomaly so that they can work on trying to stop it. So Book is completely against that. He's like, I'm the best pilot for my ship. Now, remembering that last week, the reason why Burnham did all the magic hocus pocus stuff that she did in the lifeboats and all of that stuff, and going out and taking and grabbing that debris off the hull of Discovery, is because she was the best small craft uh, pilot. Well, if Book is the best pilot of his ship, why wouldn't you let Book fly his ship to get these scans? Well, I guess simply because Book is he's still grieving. He's not at his full capacity because he is still grieving the loss of his entire planet. But again, it's time to make, hey, he wants to make the sacrifice play, just like you want to make sacrifice plays. Let your man make that sacrifice play, girl. I didn't think it was a good idea. I was completely against Book getting in his ship and going anywhere because Book was just not in the right headspace. I don't know what's going on with my hair. It just wants to pop out. It's not used to being straight. So anywho, um, he's not, she's not used to letting somebody else take the reins. You get what I'm saying? So here he took the reins. Now, what they were going to do is send the ship with Book and Stamets. Now, that was a problem because both of them are the only operators for the spore drive. Book and Stamets are the only people who can jump the ship. So why would you use both of them? So what they did, which one had been a little bit smart, what they did was they sent a holographic version of Stamets with Book. Now, they've had a little bit of unspoken beef, and it really was no beef. It's just the fact that, they're men. When I said Saru doesn't have no ego, these two do. So that's Stamets, that's Book. They got a little bit of an ego. And the ego is both of us are the only people. We are the most important people on this ship because we are the only two who can jump the ship. When things happened last season and Book was able to jump the ship, Stamets felt some type of way. He got a little jealous. And the jealousy is that he was helpless. He couldn't save his family, and Book saved his family. So now you got this other dude and came on this ship and saved my family. You know what I mean? So that's the ego thing. Okay. Um. Oh. So we have these two on Book's ship semi together because of the holographic thing. Uh, I I'm not 100% sure I liked that. And the reason why is because Stamets was on this ship with Book, and they are both doing things. Stamets is doing his scans, Book is flying the ship. So if Stamets could be moving things around on this ship and going and retrieving things, if Stamets as a hologram was able to handle things on the ship, why didn't you just send them both as holograms? You following me? I don't know if it's anybody out there that's watching Star Trek, but if you follow what I'm saying, why did you have to risk either one of them? It didn't make an awful lot of sense. Once you got to the point where Stamets can handle things on the bridge of Book's ship as a hologram, you would be like, well, he could have flown the ship as a hologram. Book could have. But anywho, I guess we just needed them to both be off the ship for whatever reason to have this conversation, I guess. So we got a Picard reference in this episode, and it was concerning talked about Adira and Gray, where Gray is getting a new body. Well, we got an opportunity to see the new body. And as Culber was explaining to Adira and Gray what to expect with this body, he's basically like, oh, this is, some technology that was introduced by this, I forgot which Sung it was, but this was something that was introduced by them. It was used to keep to res- it was used to give a body to this Admiral Picard, and nobody else was able to use it because they weren't able to get, I guess, have a stable connection with this golem body since. So there's it's not something that had been used, but the technology existed, and all they had to do was tweak it to allow it to work for Gray. And for with Gray, it's probably a lot easier because Gray's consciousness is a very strong consciousness. It's still there, so they can insert Gray's consciousness into this uh, synthetic body, and now the whole ship will be able to interact with Gray. But I like the fact that they did some explaining about why we haven't seen over this past 1,000 years everybody getting a golem body. So uh, Picard was able to get one. They weren't able to make it stable enough for everybody to use, so they kind of abandoned the idea. And that answered that. And also, just in case you didn't know, that body is going to grow old and it will die. So it's not like you got everlasting life simply because you got this golem body. No, you are going to suffer the same, I ain't gonna say suffer, you are going to be able to age and die, uh, even though you've got this synthetic body. So I like that. Um, let's see what else. We saw we saw a holodeck in Burnham's quarters, and that's another thing is kind of Picardish. But we saw a holodeck in her quarters, and this is when she went to visit Vulcan, which is now Navarre. That's this scene right here. Um, in her quarters through a holodeck, her and Saru. And she talked about, you know, why she chose that scene and all of this stuff, that how she kind of misses Vulcan. So there was that. Um, mental health this season is really big. It's like we're really getting into the mental health aspects of things, which is giving Culber a lot more to do. But also it is I guess it's just shining a light on the importance of it, and how in these situations, on if you were really able to go on these types of missions that Discovery is going on, how taking care of your mental health is a must. We see Tilly struggling with her mental health. We see Gray with a bit of anxiety about getting this new body. You see, of course, uh, Book grieving the loss of his planet and his family. So all of these things, touching on the mental health aspect, I like that they have made that uh, a character. So mental health awareness is pretty much a character in this show this season. So I don't know. Is there anybody else out here that's watching? Anybody else watching Star Trek Discovery? Well, we can get a little bit deeper. We can talk about Saru's gold crest that he's got is pretty much marking him as part of the Council of Kelpians. So that's one of the things I like. And I also like the fact that, it kind of harkens back to Worf. Worf was wearing his family's crest across his chest this entire time of his time on Star Trek. So this is us seeing Saru getting that same type of, I won't say treatment, but he's getting that same type of given that same type of energy. He's very important to the Kelpians now. He's part of this very important council. So that needs to be represented when you see him, and it's on his uniform. I like that. Oh my God, the opening credits. So the cold open was hot as hell because the cold open was like, I want to say 10 to 12 minutes long. That was a long cold open. You had all of that going on before we even got to the opening credits of Star Trek Discovery. I thought that was kind of weird. It's not the first time we've seen a long cold open like that in Discovery, but I think this might have been the longest. Um, another way that this uh, harkens back to old Trek is that this is not the first time that we've had two captains on the bridge of a ship. When Saru comes on the ship and everybody speaks to him, I think it was Detmer who said, uh, "Hey, Captain, hello, Captain." And then we had to figure out what we're going to call Saru. Well, just like or one of the other people who was a captain that was serving on the ship with another captain, Spock, the consensus was we will call him Mr. Saru. You will not just call him Saru. He said, "Don't call me Captain, just call me Saru." And Burnham said, "No, we'll call him Mr. Saru." And that, just like Mr. Spock, it just came full circle. Um, so yeah, we knew. Oh, Zora. They mentioned Zora choosing her name. This was like the first episode in Star Trek Discovery proper that we heard the ship referred to as Zora. We knew the ship's name was Zora because we watched the Star Trek short treks where in the Calypso episode, in fact, where things did happen in that episode and the ship did introduce herself as Zora. So now we've got Zora with her name is she's been she's been named now. So we also know because we got this name Zora, we know that we are headed for whatever happened in Calypso. At some point, it's got to come full circle. Now it's been an entire season plus some that we haven't seen these things tie up. What happened in what happened in that short track? How does that marry into what's going on in Star Trek Discovery? I cannot wait because the burn has been really slow with this one, not the burn from last season. This is a slow burn, a slow burn into getting to what the Calypso episode really meant with the Vadrash and with the character that was played by Aldous Hodge. I forgot his name in the episode, but yeah, I can't wait to see how all that ties together because I've been thinking about this for well over a year. So we at least we know that they have not abandoned the idea of going to figure out what's going on with book I mean with Zora and the Vadrash and how we got to where we are in Calypso. Um Now in the ready room, man, Sonequa Martin Green is a beast. Because you know that episode, I mean that part of the episode when everybody uh was taken by the gravitational anomaly, they're pulled up and then they were slammed down. That was done with wire work. So the wire work was done 12 weeks after that lady gave birth. And there's a picture of what I'm talking about here. 12 weeks after she gave birth, she was able to perform this stunt. And look, I wouldn't have been doing it. I couldn't do it. Oh my gosh. I knew that it was very soon after the birth of her second child that she came back to do season 4. But I thought, okay, in the beginning you'll do the easy stuff and then you'll come back, swing back around towards the end of the season or of production and record some of the stuff that would have been harder since she had just literally just had a baby. I am very, very in awe of the literal strength that it would take to do those kinds of stunt work, that kind of stunt work, uh, that soon after having a baby. Uh, let's see. We talked about, yeah, we talked about pretty much everything. We touched on everything. We do know that Tilly is going to start seeing Colbert. She's going to have some therapy sessions. I have a feeling we're going to see him do an awful lot of therapy. Again, I'm all for that because of the mental health aspects of it. And we get to see more of Culber. Now, one of the things that I almost forgot to mention is that my baby saved the day this week. Did I tell y'all about it? No, I didn't tell you because I forgot. Bryce. And we find out a little bit more about his personality. Now, Bryce was there this week. Yes. Bryce, uh, what is it called? Kite surfing. That's one of his hobbies. I'm gonna have to learn how to do that if I'm gonna hang out with him. But we learned that he is an avid kite surfer, and that is how they figured out how to get book bookship back to Discovery in one piece. You're going to ride these gravitational waves like you're kite surfing. And you're just going to, you're not going to do any navigating yourself, really. You are going to let the wave bring you in. And the wave was projected by Adira and Tilly. So great job, Adira and Tilly. And it got to a point where uh, Burnham had to kind of help him navigate off of the ship. So if she was able to do all of that, again, I think that they should have been able to fly that ship remotely without putting anybody's life at risk. But that's just me. And yeah, and that was this week's episode of Star Trek Discovery. I loved it. On my regular scale of 1 to 5, I'm gonna give this one a 4.5. And the reason why I'm giving it a 4.5 is because again, sets up our problem. We know what our issue is. We know what they are expected to do, which is to get these scans. I'm all for it. Um, I like the way they put together everybody's little part of the dilemma and what everybody gave to solve the dilemma, just like in any other episode of Star Trek. Uh, the action sequences were fantastic in this episode, especially the one where they lost gravity and everybody got slammed to the floor. That was dope. And again, Bryce. I mean, shit, that's got to be worth half a point by itself, right? But yeah, I enjoyed it. And I hope that if you're watching this now or on the rebroadcast, that you'll tell me what you liked or disliked about this week's episode of Star Trek Discovery. Next week look like it's gonna be just as dope. We're gonna have those Kawat Malat Nun. We're gonna have a rogue one out there killing folks. I cannot wait to see that episode. It doesn't look like it's going to tie into this anomaly very well at all, as far as progressing this plot that we know is going to be a part of the plot moving forward throughout the season. But I could take a detour. I'm all for it. So there's that. I talked about Star Trek Discovery for 35 minutes to include the opening of this. So yeah, I think that's enough. I don't know if I'm gonna have anybody come later who wants to bring Star Trek Discovery back up. If they do, I'm always for it. But we are going to move on, and right now I'm going to ask you guys what you are watching. What you watching? What you watching? Put your suggestions, what you are watching as far as streaming is going, what you have watched or what you are watching. Give us your little elevator pitch why you think we should watch it, or if you don't think we should watch us, just tell it. Tell us what you're watching. I am very interested to know what we collectively think is good or bad. Tell me what not to watch. Oh gosh. Yeah, I'm trying to give it a minute. In the meantime, and in between time, gonna talk about this week, Hawkeye. That's coming up on our next segment. We're gonna end up with the Wheel of Time. Well, now Davina says she's watched Bruised and she enjoyed it. I've not watched it yet. I actually forgot that it was dropping this week, so I will get into Bruised. It might be end up being a movie that I want to do a real film review on, a film review Friday, especially since this is a Holly Berry starring and directed movie. I think um just to see where where her skills are as a director. Davina also watched True Story. That is the Kevin Hart and Wesley Snipes series. Still haven't watched that. Still haven't watched that. I'm gonna give it a try. I think I'm gonna give it a try Tuesday because I don't have anything on my schedule for Tuesday. And you'll know if I liked it because I will watch the whole thing. If I didn't like it, I'm gonna stop wherever I stop liking it. And that's just, but that is definitely a part of my plans. Is that True Story? Uh, D also says Wheel of Time. Also, awesome, awesome. Especially this last episode. Like I said, with the Wheel of Time, we're going to talk about that. That'll be our last segment today. But with the Wheel of Time, you have to be ready to invest a little time to learn about the world. And then it seems like now that we know a little bit about the world and a little bit about what is possible in this world, that things are about to jump and go into overdrive. And I'm excited and I'm ready for it. So let's go. Um, Lysandra says she's been watching Christmas movies on Netflix. A Boy Called Christmas. She watched True Story, Hellbound, which is one that I definitely want to get into, and Christmas Flow. Um, D says that Holly did a great job. She trained for 3 years for this MMA role. Um, Davina also said DMX documentary they could have done better. We'll be talking about that on More Than a Movie Mondays. So that will be not tomorrow Monday. I've got the Black and Missing that we'll be talking about there, but next week Monday we'll be talking about that DMX documentary. Uh, Lysandra says on All Black, Our Christmas Dream and The Available Wife. The Available Wife. That sounds weird. But yeah, so there you have some suggestions. Well, I don't have to like it. It's something because you are recommending it doesn't mean that I'm gonna cover it. I don't have to like it. If you like it, put it down there. And what she likes is Davina likes Ghost Book 2. But that's her thing. So yeah, if there were some things that I actually heard that he's had a another round or measure of success with those shows on Stars because they were the most watched ever on Stars. The two episodes, what I think it was BMF and Power. Yeah, so he's having some success, and if that's your thing, or if you think that that's something that you might like, I say watch it. Don't not watch it because I ain't watching it. Who am I? She said her mother also likes Wheel of Time and Hellbound. And Lysandra said, it's really good. That wife is a mess. I think she's talking about the available wife. Because I've been trying to figure out how you a wife and you available. It sounds like an oxymoron. Well, we'll come back to what you're watching after we talk about Hawkeye. Please know that anything that we talk about on Stream Something Sunday is going to be spoilerific. we're gonna put some spoilers in. So if you have not watched the first two episodes of Hawkeye, I'm gonna tell you to tune out now. And that's hard for me to say because I'm about to drop spoilers and I don't want to ruin anything for you as far uh as Hawkeye goes. I'm gonna pull up um pull up something so I can, because I didn't put my descriptions. So Hawkeye is about Clint Barton. And you guys know who Clint Barton is. If you are an MCU fan, Clint Barton is Hawkeye. He's the archer in the Avengers. He is uh now, let's see. It was pretty much him and Black Widow that were just your every person. They were just skilled fighters. They weren't they didn't have a suit of armor covering them, and they didn't have superpowers. They were some regular people who learned some skills, got super good at it, and they dedicated their lives to protecting ours, or in their universe, the regular folks. Now what we see is that this show has a Christmas theme. We know that the show is 6 episodes long, and we also know that it started 6 days before Christmas. So, in my little mind, that means that each episode is going to be a day leading up into Christmas. We see Clint and his family visit New York, and I guess they were honorary guests at the opening of Rogers the Musical. And I thought they did an outstanding job with this little segment of this musical that they showed us in this show. In fact, it makes me want to see the rest of Rogers the Musical. It was so good. Or as far as uh it was just super campy. I loved it. You can also see uh Clint having issues with what he was seeing there in this musical. Number one, the Battle of New York included Ant-Man, who was not who was not part of the Battle of New York. We know that, but it looks like he was the only person who had like a corporate logo on his little uniform. So it looks like that was just product placement for in within the universe. So not it wasn't product placement for real. It was product placement for a product in the universe, which is something to do with the Pym name, Hank Pym being the original Ant-Man. So they use those Pym particles in Endgame to navigate around the quantum realm. So these are things that it's just like it was like somebody drinking a Coke in the scene of a movie. If I had this cup sitting here holding it like this and it said Pepsi right across the front of it, you would know that I am trying to sell you a Pepsi. So it was that kind of thing. I like that. I like the fact that they showed, I don't know which way to pull my hair. I like the fact that they showed that that there were consequences for him being involved in these battles. He lost his hearing. I guess he still has some hearing because he uses hearing aids, but when he don't feel like being bothered, he cuts the hearing aids off. I like the fact that again, everywhere he goes, he's number one, he's recognized, even though he is not the most probably popular Avenger, meaning he has done his job as far as being an archer and everything, but he's done it with staying very low key. He did not, I guess, display this over the top personality like Tony Stark, or like sometimes even Thor could be a little over the top. and he wasn't uh, regaled as a hero. He wasn't so different that you have to pay attention to him like Captain America. He's just a regular dude, but people notice him, and he feels some type of way about getting all of this attention, especially the stuff that people want to just give him because he's Hawkeye. Um, so him and his children are in New York for this musical, and they did some sightseeing and all of this. And wouldn't you know it, I'm about to I'm fighting here, and I'm tired of fighting. We're not gonna fight. Y'all gonna see the back of my hair. I curled the front. I didn't curl the back. I don't even know which way to pull up my hair. No, no, no. It's this way. I'm gonna have to take a whole intermission to get my hair right. And trying to do it in this in the camera is what's really messing me up. Okay. Anywho, so Hawkeye is now okay. He wouldn't you know it, as luck would have it, I guess you would say, he gets to New York, and this would be the week that this Hawkeye, I'm sorry, this Ronin sword and Ronin uh the little outfit that he wore costume, you would this would be the week that they want to have a silent auction or a black market auction with this stuff. Now he's there. So okay, while he's there, he's noticing that some shit is going on. You look at TV, you see your suit that you had been using to do your dirt back in in Avengers Endgame. You see this suit on the news. Somebody is wearing it doing other dirt, not the dirt that you was doing, other dirt. But I thought that was fantastic. Of course, now that he sees the suit is in New York, he has to retrieve it because he knows that he did some dirty crap in this suit. But you know what? He finds out that Kate Bishop, the young girl, is one person who's got this suit on. I like Kate Bishop. I like her spunky attitude and the fact that she excelled in so many things: archery, gymnastics, fencing. She's just, we know how she has the skills that she has. Of course, she's going to need Hawkeye to help her hone these skills a little bit more, and then she will be able to be an Avenger. Because you know what this is what this is coming to, right? You didn't know? Yeah, of course. These these people are getting old. Our older Avengers, they're getting old, and the roster has got to change. And the roster is changing. The roster is now going to be a new Hawkeye, and the new Hawkeye is going to be Kate Bishop, but we have not quite gotten there yet. I'm putting this hat back on. I'm telling you, it's like it bothers me because that side of my hair is not acting right. Matter of fact, intermission. Give me a second. I'll be right back. Okay, I think I might have fixed it well enough. So I'm like, is this hat getting worn today? I have to cover up the side of my hair that I didn't do nothing to. Um, so yeah, Kate Bishop is going to be your new Hawkeye. And that's fine. We knew this was coming. But what else is coming with it? And a couple of the things that I noticed is, number one, I don't trust her mama. Now, I of course I have watched New Rock Stars as well, and just trying to have a meeting of the minds with somebody about what is going on in this show. And they have a lot of the same ideas that I do. Number one, I don't trust her mother at all. It's all. um, and I'm wondering if she was so behind uh, her daughter getting the bow and arrow right after the father's death because she knew that she was going to make this girl into a machine. And at this point, she's close to being that machine. She's close to being the person who uh, who a mother needs her to be if we're correct about who her mother is or what her mother is. We also see her mother's fiance, Jacques. Jacques Duquesne. Okay, so Jacques Duquesne is her fiance, but we also know that he's part of a crime family. So is this a marriage uh, that is going to be built on the convenience of having two crime families? It's like a power move. If we put both all of our resources as crime family together, we will be the top crime family. And now, if the Duquesnes and the Bishops are not, or if they are both crime families, but they're not at the top, who the hell is at the top? We see towards the end, we see Echo. Now, Echo, and I want to talk about her just a bit because she is, you saw her, she's working with the tracksuit mafia and they are hilarious. So she's working with the tracksuit mafia. She's the leader or the manager, as Hawkeye called it. Um, that's not where she's going to end up. She starts in organized crime. So she starts in organized crime. She is deaf. This is the second deaf actress that we have in this phase. The first one was the actress that played Makari in the Eternals, and now we have this actress. But not only is this actress deaf, she also is an amputee. She's got a prosthetic leg. So I am truly excited for this young lady. This is her first big movie, and it's a Marvel movie. I'm excited for her. But anywho, in the comics, because I was getting into all of this, in the comics, she worked for Wilson Fisk. Who is Wilson Fisk? Wilson Fisk is the kingpin. Now, if you watched these cartoons back in the day of us watching Spider-Man cartoons and that kind of thing, you know who the kingpin is. This is exciting just for the implication that the Bishops and the Duquesnes are not the top crime family in New York. We've gathered that. If they marry each other, if they get married, it might propel them to the top as the top crime family in New York. That also makes room for somebody to be the top crime boss, and the top crime boss could very well be Wilson Fisk. Then we bring in one of his allies, Echo. She's playing in this and she's got a role in this whole thing, which also makes me believe that is leading, all roads are leading to Wilson Fisk. I think people will be so excited. I think a lot of people will be more excited to see Wilson Fisk in the MCU than they are about seeing how the Kate Bishop thing rounds out. Um, Oh, Lysandra said, I do not trust the mother. I wonder if she has something to do with her husband's death. I believe so too. And even though it looked like, hey, this is a freak accident, the Shatori came and this Battle of New York started on this particular day, and they was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Even though it looks that way, seems like he was gone before the Shatori attack started. And I could be wrong. We're going to watch and wait and see. I cannot wait to see how that plays out. because I am like you. I believe that it's something more to this whole thing. It's not just he died in the rubble. In fact, we didn't even see a body. Is he even dead? I didn't see a body. And if you don't see a body in the movies, you know that they might very well still be alive. So there's that. Um, but I do know this. Well, I feel this. I don't know this for certain. I feel like Jack knows that that was Kate that was in where the auction was, and she had the Ronin suit on. I believe that he recognized either her voice or her eyes or something, and he knows that was her. So now he is playing a game with her as well. He knows a secret about her, and I can't wait to see how that plays out. What else happened in that first episode? Mm, her future husband is up to no good. What's up with the watch? Okay, and the watch also kind of brings me back to Wilson Fisk. Like I said, all roads so far is leading to Wilson Fisk. I think that watch has sentimental value to someone. Now, it could just be it's some Tony Stark technology that everybody wants their hands on, but that's all they went there for. When the tracksuit mafia came into this auction, and they were only coming to retrieve this watch, nothing else. So this watch is something special about it. You don't just want a watch just to have a watch. There's something special about this watch. And again, I believe that this is going back to Wilson Fisk. I don't know how. We know that he is going crazy about the fact that he lost his loved ones, his wife and his son, way back in the way back. This is how Wilson Fisk became that jerk, right? So I think that Wilson Fisk has has a sentimental attachment to that watch because it may be a gift that his wife gave to him before she died. So he wants the watch back. And that's all he wanted. I care less about anything else that's there. I want that watch because my wife gave me that watch, and I want you guys to bring it to me. I don't know that. This is just me speculating. But that is one thing that I'm keeping my eye on as well, the watch. Now, Lysandra asked, did the dog get the watch? I didn't see it. Doesn't mean it didn't happen. I thought that Hawkeye got the watch, but I might need to watch it again. I thought that Hawkeye got that watch because somebody had it. Yeah, the I don't know how I thought he had it, and I don't know if it was because of something that I saw when he did that when they were doing that live action role play, and he went to the locker and put all that stuff in that locker. I don't know if I thought I saw the watch there, but it could have been the lock that was on that locker that I saw and thought it was that watch. So I don't know. But Lucky the Pizza Dog is something about that dog. Now I know he was part of the Hawkeye uh he was part of the Hawkeye series in the comic books. This run, what they have based this series off of. Uh But it looks like they are making this dog kind of like smart. Like this dog has an intellect about it. Is it just a dog even? I don't know. And what's up with the sword? The sword can come into play a couple of ways. The sword was Ronin's. And if you watched Avengers Endgame, you know that Ronin was a alter ego of Hawkeye. So when he was out there being a vigilante and taking out all of these crime bosses, all by himself. He was called Ronin. He wore that suit. He carried that sword. Now, the Jack guy, the mother's fiance, he has a I guess he has a fascination with swords, and we find out in the comic books that he is like an anti-hero called the swordsman. So I don't know if he's going to go that route, if they're going to go that route in this series, but those swords are all pointing to the fact that he is going to take on the alter ego of the swordsman. What else? Oh, Lysandra said what's she was thinking that too about the dog. And yeah, something about that dog. He just too smart. He's just too smart. So yeah, I can't wait. And then she said because someone wanted to watch, then the sword and the suit. But the sword and the suit, that was the Duquesnes. They wanted that stuff. That watch was wanted by somebody entirely different. That's why he wasn't the person that wanted to watch, wasn't there bidding on it. He was coming there to take it because in my mind it means this person who sent the tracksuit mafia to get that watch felt like that watch was his. That was not something that you could sell. You can't sell it because it belongs to me. That's why he wasn't there bidding on the watch. He was there because he sent his henchmen because that watch was his. Or at least that's the way he felt. Um, Now the sword and the suit, that's all Hawkeye. So Hawkeye just needs to get rid of the sword and the suit before somebody ties it back to him that he was the person killing all of these crime families uh after the snap, after the after the snap, after the blip, when everybody got snapped away. Hawkeye lost his family and he kind of lost his mind. And when he lost his mind, he put on the Ronin suit. He had the Ronin sword. He was going out and killing people that were part of crime families. So once Natasha put him back on track, he put the suit and the sword away. He just became Hawkeye again. So I don't know if that suit and that sword will have anything to do with the watch because they have an explanation for why the suit and the sword exist already. The only thing that I can also say is the character Echo, the lady who was the boss of the tracksuit mafia. At some point, she also becomes Ronin. She puts that suit on. She carries that sword, but she does it as a hero. So, spoiler. I guess I should have said spoiler alert. She puts and you say whose wife is up to something? To my Hawkeye's wife? No, they ain't about to make her no bad guy. He's gonna at the end of this. I honestly believe he's gonna ride off into the sunset because he has sacrificed so much. He's missed so much of his children's lives being a hero that his wife was waiting so patiently. I don't think she's up to something, but I think we might find out that she could have possibly been uh, part of Shield before they got married. We don't know an awful lot about his wife, but I believe she might have been an agent just like he was before they got married. But hopefully we'll find that out too. There was a lot to like about this week's two episodes that we got. It set us up. Of course, it gives us a glimpse of how Kate Bishop became Kate Bishop. Gives us a glimpse of what this underworld is like in the MCU, the underworld, the crime families, and it gives us a glimpse of what Hawkeye is willing to do to put all of this stuff behind him. He just wants it. He just wants to go home and be a family man. He's been wanting that for a long time. And I think here we are. He's going to get an opportunity to do that by the end of this series. She said Lysandra says I think they're going to have him train one of the ladies to become him. Well, that's what Kate Bishop is. Kate Bishop in the comic books becomes Hawkeye. So she is going to be the next Hawkeye. You don't get the actress that you chose just to do a TV show. The actress they chose to be Kate Bishop is going is was chosen because she's a movie star. Haley Steinfeld is already a movie star, and they are going to ride on her popularity to move that Hawkeye Kate Bishop story forward. She's going to be Hawkeye, but part of the Young Avengers group, and they've been putting the Young Avengers together ever since these shows started coming on Disney Plus. You start to see the bricks being laid to have a Young Avengers series or movie or both. So that is another thing. You can keep your eye on it. She is going to be Hawkeye. Echo will probably take his other alter ego, which was Ronan. But either way, Echo is going to come to the good side as well. We're going to see probably a lot more of that young lady. I forgot her name, who is playing Echo. Again, I am in awe of this young lady. She's uh, deaf and she's an amputee, and now she's in the MCU. So it is what it is. It's great. Um, these two episodes of Hawkeye, uh, they introduced what our problem is, which is Clint saying, "I need to get that suit. I need to get the sword, and then I need to get these people off of Kate's butt. We gotta get them off of her before I go home and have Christmas with my family." And if each episode is going to be one day closer to Christmas, we already are at, he's going to be at day 4 when we get to the next episode. It's going to be 4 days till Christmas. And that means he's only going to have 4 days to straighten up the mess that he's found himself in just by being in New York when this stuff went down. It is a really good show. It's a good start. I'm gonna see where it goes from here. These first 2 episodes I enjoyed. I'll give both of those episodes together 3.75 on my regular 5-point scale. 3.75 to me is a high B, and I think that's where I live with that. It's I feel comfortable saying that it was a good start. I can't wait to see what we got coming up this week, Thursday, Wednesday at 2 a.m., whatever, however you look at it. I'm going to be up watching it. So, let's move on to, okay, we'll do another round of what you watching. And then that way I can pick up the couple of the stuff that I missed the first time around. Um, Lysandra said Davina's mom is watching good shows. Davina says she watched The Tiger King. It's interesting and weird. Lysandra also added that she watched How to Ruin Christmas, The Wedding, and she said good movie. Um, so these are new things. I haven't yeah. I, I don't know about these Christmas movies. I don't watch these Christmas movies though. So there's that. But yeah, those are some more good suggestions. And now we coming into the last thing that we wanted to talk about today. She said Davina says her mom likes loves strange shows too. uh so the last show we're going to talk about today is The Wheel of Time episodes. I think we said we were going to discuss 3 and 4. So if you are watching The Wheel of Time and you have not seen episodes 3 and 4, I want you to tread lightly because we might spoil your whole entire life. Oh my goodness, I don't want to ruin your life. So if you're watching the Wheel of Time and you don't want to be spoiled, Vamoose, 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 has been pleasant having you here with us. Okay, so Wheel of Time. Oh my goodness. Episode 4. Actually, episodes 3 and 4. Um, like I said at the top, when we talk about Wheel of Time, we're talking about you starting with the fact that we have to get accustomed to a world, this world that all of these things are occurring in is different. And it's building this world from scratch for us who have not read the books. And I'm finding out that even if you didn't read the books, that you are, I mean, even if you did read the books, that they've made enough changes where this is a different story in a lot of ways. And a lot of people who did read the books are really pissed about that. I have always felt like when you are adapting something that has come from a book, you adapting it into a movie or a series, I expect I expect some things to be changed. And the reason why, ooh, excuse me, the reason why I expect things to be changed is because I already know how it ends if I've read the book. I already know every move. So why would I mean, I want to be surprised a little bit, right? So that to me is why I'm not upset, even though I didn't read the books, why I wouldn't be upset with some of the small changes, or even if they made some major changes. Um, I'm super excited about it any damn way. But the people that's read the book and they feeling, it's some mad people out there. If you look at the reviews for Amazon's Wheel of Time, these people are really going in because it's not exactly like the books. So, of course, if you didn't know, the Wheel of Time follows Moiraine. She's a member of the Aes Sedai. That's a powerful organization of women who can use magic. So she takes a group of 4 young people on a journey around the world, believing one of them might be the reincarnation of the dragon. And that dragon is a powerful individual who was prophesied to either save the world or destroy it. So it is a flip coin flip of whether they will be a good or a bad, but they have to go, right. I'm a little tired. Okay, I'm sorry about that, excuse me. So we are at the third and fourth episode. Episode 3, the Two Rivers villagers are separated from Moraine and each other, and Matt and Rand end up trekking across the wilderness in one direction. Egwene and Perrin are going the other way, and Lan and that injured Moraine are confronted by an angry Nynaeve. Now she wants to know, where are my friends? I thought you was dead, Nynaeve. I thought you was dead. No, Nynaeve is very much along among the living. And when they showed us the cunning that she used to escape those Trollocs that had basically he was dragging her to take her someplace to eat her, and she was able to escape, and she was able to kill the Trolloc, and then somehow finds out exactly where her friends in this group is, and she's demanding to know where her friends are. Now, that should have been the thing. Just the fact that she survived that situation, that should have been the thing to let us know that there was something special about Nynaeve. But we'll move on. Uh, Egwene and Perrin are followed by the wolves, and Perrin has a nightmare about the wolves and a mysterious fiery-eyed figure. Now, those wolves seem to be Team Perrin. So I'm kind of wondering, like, what role does these wolves play uh with him? What role does he play to the wolves, for instance? Uh, so that's something to keep our eye on. They got, I guess, kind of rescued with the Tinkers, and that's a peaceful little group of nomadic type people, and they let them travel with them. So there was that. Now Matt and Rand are arguing about whether to go home or go to the White Tower, and Matt is basically saying, "Hey, look, we need to go home. We need to go home. We do not need to go to the White Tower." And I'm thinking episode 4 is probably going to explain to us why he didn't want nothing. He doesn't want anything to do with the White Tower, even though he doesn't have a clue what he might be carrying, but he don't want to go to the White Tower because of what he might be carrying. um, so the Gleeman, Tom Maryland, he stole their gold. You stole my gold coins. uh, and they got attacked by, I forgot what her name was, but she was a dark friend. So she was basically letting them stick around and trying to keep them around, in fact, simply because she wanted to turn them over to the dark one. So she's a dark friend, but she got killed. Tom got rid of her. Nynaeve and Lan were arguing about the villagers and whether Nynaeve should heal Moiraine. She did attempt to heal Moiraine, but the only thing that was going to truly heal Moiraine was another Aes Sedai. So fortunately for them, they ran into some at the end of the 3rd episode. Eventually, Moiraine recovers enough to travel, and they encounter some red sisters on the road, including Leandrin, who have captured this guy who said, "I am the Dragon Reborn." His name is Logain. He is a man who can channel the one power. We knew from the very beginning of this series that men who can channel the one power, they go crazy. Their little minds can't handle it. They start to hear the voices and the such. This is not something that happens to women. And they can channel the one power, which means that they can be swayed to use it for dark means. And that is where we left off on episode 3. Moving into let me go over to the comments before we move into the episode of The Dragon Reborn, episode 4. Lysandra said, "Love number 4, they are pissed." Davina said, "Nope, she is not dead." Yeah, we gonna find that out in just a second here, huh? Yeah, something big is going to happen with Perrin, and that wound isn't getting any better. And she said Logain is something else. So, and that's where we have our end for episode 3, was meeting Logain. Well, we go to episode 4. Moiraine gets healed by the Aes Sedai, so yay, we don't have to worry about her dying. And then she's shown Logain, who has been imprisoned by the continual channeling of several Aes Sedai. They've got a shield up around him because it's going to take the power of several of them to hold this one person's power at bay. Leandrine, who is one of the Red Sisters, and some other Aes Sedai, they want to gentle Logain, which means they are going to permanently sever his connection to the one power, and that is like giving them a lobotomy. So if this man, if they were to sever his connection, he would just be basically a vegetable at that point. Now, Moiraine believes that he might be the Dragon Reborn. And of course, this is all at the beginning of the episode, so we're going through it in the chronology of the way that it happened in the episode. Egwene and Perrin travel with the Tinkerers, who are heading towards Tar Valon, and Egwene learns that as part of the Way of the Leaf, they have vowed to never use violence. So they are not a violent violent people, and they believe in the way of the leaf, which is just like whichever way the freaking wind blows you, and then when you land, you land. So uh I like the way the young man was giving her the four ones, is telling her what his people believe and what they stand for, and they don't use violence. Now, Rand, Matt, and Tom, oh Lord, they stay the night with this family. Tom tells Rand that he suspects that Matt might be able to wield the one power, as his suspicious behavior resembled that of Tom's nephew. And that was a man who could channel, but he killed himself after being gentled by the Aes Sedai. So now he's realizing Matt might have this ability to channel the one power. If Matt can channel the one power, that does make him a candidate for being the Dragon Reborn. But because when men uh in the past, when men have had this the ability to channel, again, they haven't done very much good with it. uh he could very well be the Dragon Reborn, because we know that the Dragon Reborn is here to do one of two things. He's here to save the world or destroy it. We're seeing some negative tendencies from Matt, and if he's able to wield the one power, would he be the dragon who would destroy the world? So if that's the case, they kind of need to get rid of him like now. But okay. um that night, that family that was gracious enough to let these people stay in their barn, that family is killed by a fade. And I didn't realize that that's what we were calling these things, those creatures with just basically no face and a whole mouthful of teeth. They are fades. Well, Tom distracts the fade, and it allows Rand and Matt to escape. Loghain's army of followers arrives just as Loghain uses the one power to escape his imprisonment. And let me tell you, once we find out that, okay, there's all of these different uh there's different levels to this Aes Sedai ish, and these sisters all wield a certain power that is attributed to one of the elements, the like air, fire, earth, wind. It almost sounds like we're going to go into Captain Planet, but we're not going to go into Captain Planet. These are the Aes Sedai. And when you see them use their powers, I'm telling you, that was so dope when with so many of them using all the different varieties of powers, and still this little game cat is still got the upper hand on a couple of the Aes Sedai. Killed Karini, who I liked. I liked that sister. Yes, killed her. Um, but before all of this went down, we saw Nynaeve and Lan Mal Dragaron, I think that's his name. We saw her and Lan kind of form a bond, and it almost looks romantic, but you saw them form a bond and come to a sort of a friendship and acceptance of one another. And she accepted him, and he did everything that he could to save her life, to keep her safe when they were being attacked by Loghain's army. And then they get into this cave where Loghain is being held, and Loghain reverses these attacks on him and causes all of these injuries amongst all of the people around him, to include Lan, whose throat gets slit. Now Nynaeve loses her shit. She lost her shit when his throat got slit. So she went and she's trying to hold him together. And I guess that emotion woke something in her. And Lord have mercy, she healed the whole room with this just huge outburst of the one power that matches the prophecy of the Dragon Reborn. Logain, of course, is gentled by the Leandrin and the Aes Sedai, so he's not going to be going anywhere. But their power is so awesome. To actually get to see them use it in an unrestrained way was flipping awesome. I was I'm stunned and blown away by what we saw. I cannot wait for the next episode. I want to see if Nynaeve is truly the Dragon Reborn, or if she is just a really, really strong person in the One Power. If there's somebody who has a stronger handle on the One Power than she does, because she has not been taught how to channel this. It was completely out of raw emotion that made her that made her able to channel that much power on accident. I'm gonna say that the black lady got killed before uh the black lady got killed before the emotional outburst. I can't, I don't know what other way to say it, but like the emotional outburst healed all those people who had just gotten killed the same way that Land got killed. But this lady was already dead when they even entered the room. So I think it was because of that. And I don't know, but I don't know. We might find something a little different. Lysandra says she got the light. She got the light. She had they said it was going to be burn brighter than the sun or something to that effect. Yeah, that light, she blew that room to pieces. And in the meantime, you got the Aes Sedai out there just like boom, using their powers to hold back this army. That was today. I mean, episode 4 was the dopest. So we got some world building done. We know who we dealing with. We see it could be Matt. Matt could be the Dragon Reborn, but there's a strong case for it being Nynaeve. But we still haven't seen what Perrin and what Rand can bring to this whole table. Like they gotta have some kind of powers, or they wouldn't have thought that these people could have possibly been the Dragon Reborn. So I want to see what they can do. Um, oh, you're saying that's what you figured about why the black lady didn't get healed. Um, Lysandra said, I think she's going to take her place. I've got a feeling that she is going to be an Aes Sedai as well, but she is just more powerful. There was that one really powerful Aes Sedai. I think she had a blue Aja. She was part of the blue Aja. I'm not 100% sure. I can't even remember her name right now. But yeah, the blue Aja, I mean, that she was strong. It looks like if Nynaeve becomes Aes Sedai, she is going to eclipse that sister. That was amazing to me. Um, Davina said it's amazing how how her partner sensed her death. I think, yeah, they said that they are connected more than a son or more than a mother and a child, more than a husband and a wife, more than just anything. And there is no bond closer than an Aes Sedai and her warder. And he could sense that she was gone. And he went in there, and of course, he went in there with a little vengeance, and that's what set everything off that happened after that. But we would never have known that Nynaeve held that kind of power if all of those things that happened before didn't happen. Lysandra said, "Did you notice the guy couple?" Yes, I did. uh, Angus, I didn't even know you were here, Angus Osano. How's it going? You said emotional outbursts can be called a frenzy. And that's exactly what it was. It was like a frenzy. That the way the power shot up out of her, and it did her bidding, it did her will. She wanted it to heal everybody around her, and that it did. I think maybe she might have even only been intending to heal land, but th- it was just like residual healing power. Yeah, this episode was really fantastic to me. I cannot wait to see where we go next. I can't wait to see where we go next. I'm excited. So, what you guys got? Oh, as far as ratings, because I didn't rate none of it. So these first 4 episodes, I'm gonna rate them all together, and then from here on, I'm gonna try to remember to give my rating. uh, these first 4 episodes, the first 3 episodes, again, we're just getting us accustomed, I think, to the worlds that we might see. And then this fourth episode was putting what we learned thus far into practice. I loved it. And I will say, on my regular scale of 1 to 5, I'll give it a 4. I'll give it a 4. Yes, she said Logain was even surprised by the power, and he was, because he really thought that he was the Dragon Reborn. He actually thought that those voices were his attachment to all the dragons before him. So to see her display of power and how closely it fit the prophecy, yeah, that shocked him, because he really did believe he was the Dragon Reborn. um Sandra said her and the young lady and the young man, her and the young lady and the young man, one is the dragon. I'm a little confused. um Davina said high marks. And Lysandra said, from the start, I gave it a 5. Y'all are so generous. I told y'all the things that I didn't like in the beginning, because now we're starting to see a little more consistency in what a world that has been weathered the way this world is. We're starting to see a little more consistency in the look as the series moves on. But these first couple of episodes, they look like uh everything was clean. It's just like it couldn't possibly be that clean in a society where the only light that you have is sunlight and fire. If you don't have no electricity and all of this stuff, that's a problem to me. That's something that we need to go and talk to a department about costuming, a department about uh even the world itself shouldn't look that clean because of the type of society this was. So I'm taking points for that. But I from there on, once I got over how jarring that was to me, and the bad the CG is kind of wonky, and the special effects on those Trollocs was terrible. So those are things that I'm gonna take points from. But overall, this story, I'm absorbed in the story. um Lysandra said, between the three, one is the dragon. Her and the young lady and the young man. So her being, I'm gonna think her is Nynaeve. Then we talking Rand and Egwene, I think. I don't know what this last one means. Between the, because if someone else come in, they really gonna throw me off. Who got the power? But yeah, it is between the 5 people. It started off as only 4, but then once Nynaeve got introduced or reintroduced into this madness, now there are 5. So it's between these five people. It's between Rand, Perrin, Matt, Egwene, and Nynaeve. Those are the five that are potentially uh the Dragon Reborn. And you're going to see the children of light coming after them a little bit more. I think you're going to see them fades coming back, coming for them a little bit more. uh i'm I'm ready to know what's going to happen next. The week can't go by fast enough. I'm excited and I want to see what happens with these people. So yeah, we got anything else on the wheel of time? Boy, anything that I didn't mention that you guys thought was a part that we need to pay particular attention to? I'd love to hear it. I want to know this. Did the Fade kill that family or did Matt kill them? Because we came in, we saw Matt, we saw the family dead, we assumed that Matt did it, and then we saw the Fade. And I'm like, okay, and then we because we saw the Fade, it kind of made a lot of people assume that the Fade did it. But did Matt kill those people? And if it's something that I missed in there, let me know so I can go back and watch it again. So you say you're guessing the Fade killed him. Uh and when Matt was like, usually you can't see a fade, they was like they move in the shadows, but Matt was like, I see you. Matt was the only person who could see that fade. So is Matt being controlled by the dark one? Or is this a part of him being able to channel the one source? Was it the one source or the one power? What am I? Let me go back to my notes over here and make sure. Yeah, the one power. You were wondering the same thing, Lysandra. Yeah, like it's too easy to assume either way. And I'm pretty sure half of the audience is going to assume that it was the Fade, and the other half of the audience is going to assume that Matt flipped and killed those people. And I guess we're going to have to wait to find out. And then that doll that the little girl gave him, we saw that on the ground. And I'm like, okay, did he throw the doll down or did he just lose the doll? Did he throw the doll down because he was done with that family? Or did he just lose the doll while they were traveling on horseback? And what the hell happened with Tom? Is Tom's the Gleeman? Is Tom still alive? Tell me, what do you think? I got a feeling that Tom is going to survive his rendezvous with the Fade. She said, "Who killed the family?" Because it might have been both. It could. They both could have been part of it. Could have been Matt. Could have been the Fade. Could have been a combination of the two. You're right. Oh, it broke my heart to see that little girl. But yeah, um, we gonna see next week. And again, next week is Discovery, Hawkeye, and the Wheel of Time again. I think there might be something else. And if it is, of course, you can always check on the Facebook in the Facebook group. And I will have the thumbnail for next week's show will be available there. So you can look and see what's on the thumbnail if there's anything that's been added to that list of shows that we are going to discuss next week Saturday. I'm inviting you all to join me here again tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central Time, where we're going to talk about Black and Missing. That is a docu-series that was on HBO Max and HBO last week. It's still available. You can still watch it, but I watched it, and we're going to discuss it tomorrow. on More Than a Movie Mondays, which is kind of like a more of a newer segment for us, but still, More Than a Movie Mondays, we are going to do Black and Missing. I'm inviting you to join. Oh, look! I always find it so. It's just so heartwarming when you with your kids. I don't care what we doing in this whole world. If them kids is around, you be with your kids. We just talked about that yesterday. Be a good daddy. Yes. Going back up to. Oh, I'm sorry. And how you doing, Clarence? Oh, Lysandra said, but the man noticed that he was not good in the third episode. He noticed it because his nephew, or yeah, I think it was his nephew, was the same. His nephew been uh had been able to channel, and then the Aes Sedai gentled him, and he kind of cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. He killed himself. So we don't know if Tom is protecting Matt because he wants to get back at the Aes Sedai for gentling his nephew and having him kill himself. We don't know what Tom's motives are. So maybe the fact that Matt was bad is exactly what he wanted. You know what I'm saying? Um, but yeah, we were talking about oh shoot, I was closing out, wasn't I? Yeah, so tomorrow, More Than a Movie, come join me, Black and Missing. Hopefully you'll be there because it is important work that these ladies are doing. And it's always, and I guess I'm going to talk about it a bit more tomorrow, but I guess I can share this little bit with you today. Um, we, as far as Black women go, we are interested. If anybody's baby missing, we are all about, let's find this baby. If anybody's baby get killed, it's like, oh my God, this was an unspeakable tragedy for this family, white, Black, Hispanic, whatever. We are empathetic. uh there's a young lady named Kendall Ray, and I watch her videos. She also has a podcast called the Mile Higher podcast. So she does true crime most of the time on her shows. And she came on Twitter the other day and said that whenever she does a thumbnail or whenever she has a case that's about Black people, it is the least watched. And she gets millions of views on her videos on for Kendall Ray, and hundreds of thousands of views on her stuff for Mile Higher. But when she has a Black subject, the it's like half of what she normally would get, which means that uh, our stories aren't resonating with people now. Of course, there's racism too, but our stories are not resonating with people. Um, People jumped in her comments and were saying, "Well, we watch stuff that we can relate to," and I'm like thinking, how can you not relate to a mother's pain, a family's pain? Why would it matter what color the victim was? Why would you not be able to relate to it if it were a Black victim? These are the things that I'm talking about. When we talk about things that are going on in the Black community and how we are underrepresented on so many fronts, uh, we don't get the attention of other people. Black women will watch and will support. Like I say, Black women gonna watch and support the Black and Missing show uh on HBO Max, but are other races, do they even care? These are some of the things that we're going to discuss tomorrow, among the things. But that was one of the things that kind of bothered me because it was sitting there in black and white. I'm going to share some screenshots of the conversation that she was having on Twitter, but you will be able to see This is a person who gets 2 million views on her videos. And when you come down to black people, it's like just cut in half, even less than half in some cases. So, it's not our problem. That's not our problem. That's a problem that has to be addressed within. You got to ask yourself, why do I feel like I cannot relate to this black woman's pain, black man's pain, black family's pain? Why does a family have to look like me for me to have empathy? And I mean, those are questions that we're going to ask tomorrow. Hopefully, you'll join me. Um, I'm going to go through the ends of our comments here. Lysandra talking about Matt. She said he's funny with his thieving, but Matt is a thief. Yes, he is. He can't help it. Can't help himself. I'm wondering if a lot of it or if any of it has to do with the fact that his mother is a drunk and his father's a pedophile. Those things could possibly play into like what was going on with him. Davina said, yes, we are. This is a word that it's like a lot of words that I can't make my mouth do. In championing, that was better than I've ever done it. Championing. Yes, we are championing for everyone. It's so very hard for me to say that. And she also said, this is our truth when it comes to our stories. But I used to do a true crime podcast. A lot of people know that already. And I talked about everybody. If your case was out there, I talked about it. And I don't want to own these horrific stories like they are only ours. This is not something that just happens to black people. It's not a black or white problem. It's actually an American problem. We have an issue with people. I'm going to save a whole lot of this for tomorrow. We've got issues that are bigger than black and white, and the sooner we can all agree that that these issues are American issues and not just black or white issues, instead of putting those labels in the labels that I'm talking about, the black on black crime. This is not a black issue. It's easy to shine a spotlight or a headlight or a floodlight on what's going on in the black community, but if we're being 100% real, the same shit is happening in the white community, the Hispanic community. And guess what? White people kill white people because that is who they're around the most. Hispanic people kill Hispanic people in great numbers because that's who they are around enough. And black people kill black people in huge numbers because that's who we are around the most. There are times when people cross color lines, but guess what? That happens in every color, every race. So when you buy into the language, the rhetoric, when you buy into the words, because words mean things, they have a whole hell of a lot of meaning. Some of them have double and triple meaning. The black on black crime makes me want to look at Clarence and say, oh, he's a threat. He's a threat. Black on black crime is really big here. When I need to be equally as worried about Ted Bundy over here. You know what I'm saying? That's rhetoric, and we buy into it and we repeat it and we instill it. Just like I was talking about how we whip our kids and people give whippings. That's a tool that's been put in your toolbox. You carry it until somebody say that's too heavy to carry and we don't carry it no more. And then we get that. We need to say that these words are too heavy to carry. That's not part of my toolbox anymore. If we're going to talk about crime, we're going to talk about crime. Don't try to make it seem like I am at a higher risk of committing a crime because of this. That's unfair and it's unrealistic. I'm gonna go back to these comments. I'm sorry, y'all. She said, "What is the name of her show again?" You talking about Kendall Ray? Kendall Ray. If that's what you're talking about, Kendall Ray has two uh shows. One of them is called. Well, she's got three actually. One of them is called Kendall Ray, just her name, Kendall Ray. The other one is called Mile Higher. That's a podcast and a YouTube channel. The third one is called The Sesh. That's a little bit more lighthearted. That's her and her cousin Janelle. So I like Kendall Ray. So that's not me saying that there's anything wrong with her. She is actually out here trying to do the work, but she ain't getting no support. Davina said that's because they aren't equipped with true empathy, selective empathy. This is true. I am 100% in agreement. Uh, Claire said it's like what you said about when black girls go missing and no one cares. That's yeah. They just who cares but us? I'm gonna tell you a stat tomorrow. If you guys are watching, I'm gonna tell you a stat tomorrow that's gonna blow your flipping mind. Because it blew mine. Maybe it won't blow yours. Maybe you knew, but it's gonna blow your effing mind if when I give you the stat tomorrow. D says, yes, I totally agree with you, but that's the thoughts of other folks. I'm I'm just as hurt when anyone is missing. Then she follows up with, I just don't understand it. Exactly. I don't get it. How do you not relate to, because that was the comment that stood out to me. And it was like, we watch what we can relate to. How do you not relate to somebody being in pain? That's it's just crazy to me. Does it matter what color I am if I'm hurting? Does it matter? I don't think that matters, but here we are. So yeah, that's coming tomorrow. I hope you guys join me. I've been here for 2 hours now, and um yeah, I'm ready to go smoke a cigarette, really, to be quite honest with y'all. I had fun talking with you guys about Star Trek Discovery, about Hawkeye, and about the Wheel of Time. And hopefully, you'll join me here again at 3 p.m. Central Time next week to do the same. With all that being said, I've got nothing else. I think I'm gonna cut out of here. Yeah, I'm gonna go and do what I said I wasn't gonna do, which is smoke a cigarette. So, peace.